the 2012 FF1M Championship comes to you from the Sao Paulo-based Interlagos circuit in Brazil, where Lewis Hamilton is looking for 7 wins in a row, his streak having started in the Italian Grand Prix of last season. And he duly kicked off 2012 by taking a very well-controlled victory in Melbourne, a very wet Melbourne for that matter. As a result, he leads the championship ahead of Rosberg, Vettel and Ricciardo. Both tornadoes in the points mean that they lead the Constructors' Championship from Sean Connery Motors and Shake and Bake. Quick look at the circuit. There's 2 key spots where overtaking is likely to happen, into the first corner and the fourth corner. Senna S and Descida de Lago. You do get some overtaking into the Ferradura as well, so keep an eye on that corner as well. Hamilton won last season's race for Pedersen. This season with Tornado, however, he will have his work cut out from 5th on the grid. Taking pole position is Fernando Alonso for Willows Racing. Willows Racing first ever pole position. Romain Grosjean impressed with 2nd on the grid, and Rosberg and Vettel make it an all-German 2nd row. As mentioned, Hamilton is 5th and Kimi Raikkonen is 6th, so both FJRs in the top 6 and both Andrew F1s in the top 10, with Kubica 7th and Sutil 9th. 2 Brazilians in the top 10 as well, with Lucas Di Grassi 8th and Bruno Senna making the top 10 for Pedersen BMW. Ricciardo is 11th and Alonso's teammate Pastor Maldonado is down in 16th. Some Venezuelans may be disappointed by that, but they've come in numbers to watch Maldonado race. Making up the back 3 rows are Mitchell, GRM and Horizon Honda. So here we go, on the grid. 5 lights are on, brief pause, 5 lights are out, and Alonso looks as if he has got a good start. Rosberg has got away well as well, he could be challenging Grosjean into the first corner. Hamilton is looking up the inside as well. He's already got past Sebastian Vettel, who has not made a particularly good start, but Fernando Alonso is the man who leads. 27 laps of fuel as well. We're expecting 1 or 2 stops in this race, and it'll be interesting to see who makes what. Lewis Hamilton is looking up the inside of Nico Rosberg into the Descida de Lago corner, and that's 3rd place for the man who has currently won 6 races in a row, looking to make it 7. Everyone has made it safely through the first few corners, but it is Fernando Alonso who leads, and he'll be looking to make amends after a very shambolic first race of the season. Not the most ideal way that Willows Racing would have wanted to start their FF1M career, but this looks a lot better already. Down the Mergulo corner and into Juncao. There's Grosjean, there's Hamilton, and we have a look at Vettel, who is looking to make up for his rather poor start and try and get Nico Rosberg for 4th position. But at the moment, Fernando Alonso has a very comfortable lead from Romain Grosjean. Across the line he goes. Obviously, as there's only been 1 lap, he sets the fastest lap. Vettel and Rosberg are side by side going into the first corner, and Vettel takes 4th position for the Shake and Bake. Customer Honda overtakes the Works Ferrari. And now Kimi Raikkonen looks as if he wants to catch Rosberg off guard by having a look into the 4th corner. He's up the inside. Very unique onboard camera from the Finn in the FJR. And just behind him, Ricciardo has just got past Lucas Di Grassi as well. This will not please team boss Guillaume Kramer, obviously his home race, although Sean Connery Motors are classed as a Scottish team. Here's Romain Grosjean, who's coming under pressure from Lewis Hamilton through the final series of kinks onto the start-finish straight. Hamilton's having a look at the inside into that particular corner, and Grosjean has noticed him there. Good driving from the Franco-Swiss driver, although he's about to lose 2nd position to Lewis Hamilton. Yet to score a podium has Grosjean, but he runs in 3rd position at the moment in the much improved FJR. Speaking of which, Kimi Raikkonen is having a look at Sebastian Vettel for 4th position, and he's got it going into the first corner. That's very, very close to contact between the 2 drivers. And now Vettel has been compromised, and Rosberg is going to have a look into this corner here, Descida de Lago. Not quite. He's got to be careful because Daniel Ricciardo is looking a bit menacing. And 24 laps of fuel, soon to be 23 for Alonso, who leads. Although Hamilton looks as if he is looking to challenge for the lead. Let's see how quickly he can close the gap. On board with Lucas Di Grassi now, as he is getting alongside Daniel Ricciardo going into Desida del Lago. And Ricciardo's holding on. This is for 7th position between an Australian and a Brazilian. Di Grassi looking to impress in front of his home crowd. Another driver looking to impress in front of his home crowd is Bruno Senna. At the moment he's not in the top 8, but we are likely to see quite a bit of him. No chance of making an overtake in this infield section. We'll have to wait until the start-finish straight. And it was a very good performance from Daniel Ricciardo last time out in Melbourne, starting 16th on the grid there and finishing 4th, partly down to some key retirements, such as both FJRs, but it was a very, very well-deserved points finish for the Australian in his first ever season in FF1M. And at the moment he's running quite well, up in 7th position, having started from 11th, so he's pretty good at those starts. But he has got Lucas Di Grassi coming up alongside him into turn 4. That is 7th position for the Brazilian. So Ricciardo loses a position, and now Di Grassi looks as if he wants to get at his own teammate. Here's Raikkonen and Grosjean now for 3rd position. Kimi looks as if he has got the faster car at the moment, and he wants that 3rd position off of his own teammate. Please don't collide, boys. Grosjean has seen the Finn coming, and that is 3rd position and a new fastest lap for Kimi Raikkonen as well, so he's got the car underneath him at the moment. Could be explained by a slightly lighter fuel load. He's got a bit less fuel than Alonso. He's definitely one of those making 2 stops. We're expecting 1 or 2 stops, so it'll be interesting to see who makes what during this race. At the moment, Raikkonen is the man on the move, having started 6th. He is now up to 3rd, and making up a position is Kamui Kobayashi. That's on Ricciardo, so Ricciardo's dropping back a little bit. Robert Kubica has overtaken him, and there's another driver in front of Kobayashi as well. Here is Fernando Alonso versus Lewis Hamilton, arguably 2 of the best drivers in FF1M at the moment. Let's see how this battle goes on. As they're about to start lap number 11, Hamilton trying to get up alongside him into turn 1. His winning streak looks as if it is solid at the moment, and that's the lead into turn 1. Lap 11, Lewis Hamilton is leading the race. Quite impressive from 5th on the grid actually, although Alonso's not looking like he's going to give up that position at the moment. He's trying to get alongside back at him into turn 4. Outbraking the Brit. Alonso retakes the lead. Hamilton's got to be careful, he's got Kimi Raikkonen looming large. And look at Romain Grosjean as well, staying with them as well. These FJRs have come on very strongly since last season, where they only finished 7th in the Constructors' Championship. And Raikkonen was 9th. Grosjean had a very difficult season last time out, down in 18th position. And certainly by the first race, both FJRs had reliability issues. Raikkonen had a puncture whilst running 3rd, and then having inherited 4th position, Grosjean retired with a suspension failure, most likely after hitting the wall after an off. And about to start another lap, Hamilton looks as if he is going to re-challenge for the lead, going into turn 1 in much the same fashion as before. Alonso was the man who led last time across the line. It is still Alonso, but Hamilton has outbraked the Spaniard into turn 1. Can Alonso get back at him this time? He's a bit further back this time, and now he's got Kimi Raikkonen looking to make a move going into turn 4. Raikkonen's got alongside him on the back straight. Can he outbrake the Spaniard? Yes, he can. That's 2nd position for Kimi Raikkonen. Now Romain Grosjean is the man challenging Alonso, but he'll have to wait another lap because the interior section is not the place to overtake. And it's been a fairly close race so far. The top 8 are covered by less than 10 seconds. Got Vettel in 5th position, 4.6 seconds behind Lewis Hamilton. And Look at Kimi Raikkonen, he's looking for Lewis Hamilton now for the lead. 10 laps of fuel, so if he is on a lighter fuel load than Lewis, then taking the lead will be ideal for him. Let's see if he's close enough going out of Junção. Up through the gears, on board with the fin. He's closing in a bit, not quite enough at the moment. Now he's in the slipstream, 180 miles an hour. And they're crossing the line, lap 13. Kimi Raikkonen is up on the inside, and he's taken the lead of the race. FJR lead a race for the first time in a long time. Grosjean has taken third from Fernando Alonso as well, so both FJRs in the top 3. Last time they won a race was back in the 2008 season when they had Fernando Alonso racing for them. That was back at Hockenheim. And we're having a look at an Andrew Racing challenging Lucas Di Grassi for 7th position. That's Kubica. Into turn 1 he goes, and Kubica has taken the position off of the Sean Connery motors. In the much improved Andrew F1 Renault, it has to be said. They were 9th in the championship last time, in 2011. And they've had some useful points from Melbourne. Off the track has gone Grosjean. Grosjean off, and he's lost a position to Alonso. He's just about held on from Vettel, though. That was a little bit lucky. Now then, coming out of Junção, Raikkonen has opened up a 2.8 second lead over Lewis Hamilton. But he is due in the pits this lap. Let's see him jink left. There he goes. Kimi Raikkonen into the pits for his first stop. Hamilton retakes the lead. Kimi Raikkonen was one of those on a one-stop last time out in Melbourne, and he made it work, it has to be said. He did actually theoretically take a net lead off of Lewis Hamilton before the Brit passed him. Rosberg was actually leading at the time, but having yet to make his second stop. And out of the pits he comes. Grosjean is due in the pits soon, but he wants second place off of Fernando Alonso first. Into turn 4, Grosjean is up into second position, but he'll have to relinquish that in, I'd say, about 2-3 kilometres time. So this needs to be a good in-lap if he's going to rejoin somewhere in the mix. So FJR is running quite light at the moment. And there he goes, Grosjean into the pits. Alonso will retake second position. It looks like he got held up quite badly there. And there goes Vettel through into second position. So Alonso getting really caught out there by Grosjean's late move into the pits. Here is Grosjean. He's taken a lot of fuel on board. Is this a one-stop from the Franco-Swiss? He's got Robert Wickens right behind him. Robert Wickens has just taken a position off of him. Unusual strategy for the FJR driver. And Grosjean's coming back at him. He's not giving up 15th position that easily, but Robert Wickens has taken it. And now Grosjean has got a Pedersen all over his rear. Into the pits comes Lewis Hamilton from the lead of the race. So he didn't actually run that much further than Kimi Raikkonen, only about 4 laps. Let's see how much fuel he takes on board. Raikkonen is definitely two-stopping. He had 25 laps of fuel when he came into the pits. Brand new slick tyres. Lots of fuel. He's trying to go to the end as well. This is a very strange strategy from him and Grosjean. Oh, he's being held up. Hamilton's been held up by Kubica and Di Grassi. That's going to cost him some time. And if Raikkonen is two-stopping, that might not be good news. 6.8 seconds, so a very quick stop. Maldonado comes into the pits as well. He's out of the pits. And very tentative on the throttle. And now he's building up speed. Here we go. 5th gear. And he's rejoined 9th position behind Mark Webber in the AJ. So it's Sebastian Vettel who leads the race at the moment from Fernando Alonso. And bang goes one of the Pedersens. That is Bruno Senna. That is unfortunate. One of the 2 Brazilians are out. At least past Maldonado is still in the race. And he has just taken that position off of Senna. So it's not a complete disaster for South America at the moment. Sebastian Vettel is due in the pits this lap, and he's only got 0.7 of a second over Fernando Alonso. So this needs to be a good pit stop if he's going to rejoin somewhere in the action. And Raikkonen jumped Hamilton by a long way. He's 11 seconds ahead of him now. And more than that, there's a car in between Raikkonen and Hamilton, and it's the AJ of Mark Webber. So into the pits comes Vettel. Will Alonso be held up even more? Hard to tell from this camera angle. But let's see this pop. Nope, Alonso is in as well, so he's choosing this opportunity to pit. So into their respective pit garages. For some unusual reason, Willows Racing have green mechanics. And he's taking fuel to the end of the race as well. How about Vettel? Oh no, this is Vettel taking fuel to the end of the race. Will Alonso do the same thing? Into the pits comes one of the AJs, I think it's Mark Webber. Is indeed, and Alonso is going to the end as well on this fuel load. So Nico Rosberg is in the lead at the moment, and Raikkonen has disappeared off the timing screens. Where's Kimi Raikkonen gone? Hopefully we'll get to see what happens, but he has disappeared. There he is! Kimi Raikkonen is out of the race for the second race in a row. That is unfortunate luck for the FJR driver. And he was looking good for a very strong result as well. So the FJR's proving fragile at the moment. They might have to get that sorted out. And there's a 26-second gap between Rosberg and Vettel as well. Let's see the gap as they go through second sector. 4/10 slower than Rosberg is Vettel. And he rejoined ahead of Hamilton as well, so Vettel is effectively in the net lead once Rosberg makes his pit stop. But will Rosberg pull out enough of a gap to take the lead off of Vettel? It's going to be interesting once the Sean Connery Motorsh makes his pit stop. And we're just getting word it was a gearbox failure for the FJR driver. Here's Kubica. I think he's on a two-stop strategy because he is looking very, very menacing behind Fernando Alonso. And the other Andrew Racing is in 6th position in the form of Adrian Sutil. De Grassi is in 7th, and Jaime Alguersuari up in 8th position for the Mitchell. Not a bad effort from them considering they had a pretty bad race in Melbourne, and that's quite encouraging for the Mitchell team running the Toyota Works engine. Only team in the field running the Toyota engine. We have a look at Kubica, who's all over the back of Alonso. Alonso, of course, fueled to the end of the race. Kubica has another stop to do. So if he can get past Fernando, then Kubica in Andrew Racing is looking quite strong. I suspect the two-stop strategy is going to be a better strategy to use, because with the fresh tyres at the end, then that's going to be more of an advantage than those that have taken fuel to the end of the race. Kubica trying the outside at this corner here. That's brave, but he's had to back out of it. He's going to get back in the slipstream, and he's going to try a more sensible option going into turn 1. Is he close enough? Alonso's defending, and Kubica wasn't actually close enough in the end. Rosberg extends his lead slightly over Vettel. And Alonso is actually right behind Hamilton as well. There he is. And now up the inside of Alonso, we're on board with Kubica, going into turn 4, 4th position for the Polish driver, making his return to the FF1M scene. He drove for FJR back in 2009, and he had to enjoy a very unreliable car then. In 2010, he raced for Guy Racing, alongside... And with a lot of replayers, Alonso made a mistake. He's certainly run quite wide. And is he going to have a spin? He's going to have a spin! Fernando Alonso's just spun it at the Ferradura corner. And, oh, he's made a hash of rejoining there. And he's way down the order. Another expensive mistake for Fernando Alonso. And here's a replay. Kubica's taken Hamilton for 3rd. Don't forget Kubica is 2-stopping. But he is still looking good. And into the pits has come Rosberg. This must be his only stop. Let's see how much fuel goes on board the Sean Connery motors. Yep, fuel to the end. And a quick stop, 7.4. Not as quick as the 6.8 of Hamilton. And Rosberg, former teammate to Kubica actually, in the Guy Racing. That was back in 2010. And Kubica performed quite admirably against Rosberg, having equal points come the end of that particular season. Kubica had a second position in Brazil. And Rosberg is still in the lead from Vettel, so should see him pull away. But Vettel has actually got Kubica all over the back of him. This is a fantastic drive from Kubica. Be a shame once he makes his second pit stop, but with new tyres, that is going to be a big advantage. And was there a bit of contact there, or did Kubica just get a bit on the curb? I think he just got a bit on the curb. That's all good. Grosjean versus Button for 8th position. And Grosjean was one of the first to pit as well, so this... not too bad, actually, for the Swiss Frenchman. Races under a French licence, but he considers himself half and half. And is this Button looking to make a move back on Grosjean? A little bit. Oh, Grosjean's locked up. Is he going to go off for the second time this race? He is indeed, and... well, he has to do that overtake all over again. This is Suttle versus Maldonado for 5th position. Maldonado's worked his way through the field, so it's been quite a good race for him. Yet to make some form of pit stop. I don't know if he's 2 stopping or 1 stopping. That's 5th position, around the outside of turn 2. And he started 16th on the grid. And Kobayashi is having a look at Romain Grosjean now for 9th position. Yes, 9th position. And he's been compromised a little bit. Here's Alonso, having rejoined from his rather careless spin, it has to be said, but making a move up the inside of Kobayashi for 10th position. And Kobayashi has got that's Mark Webber behind him. So there's a pretty good scrap here between these 4 cars, because I'm sure Alonso will catch up to Grosjean. He's got slightly fresher tyres than the FJR driver. Kubica's right behind Rosberg. We need to see this. But we also, in fairness, need to see Vettel and Hamilton battling for 3rd position. This is quite important. Kubica has taken the lead. We're not seeing this. But Vettel has got Hamilton right behind him. Not for very long, though. He's got him alongside him. And in a moment, he'll have him ahead of him. Hamilton takes 3rd position from Sebastian Vettel. He's going to have a heck of a job catching Rosberg, though, who is on those fresher tyres, but a slightly heavier fuel load. Here is the replay of that move for the lead. Kubica up the inside. And he was ahead before they even got to the start-finish line. Half a tenth ahead, but he's going to extend it for sure. And we're looking at Sergio Perez down in 17th position. He's nearly been shoved into the pit wall by the Mitchell of... is that Alguersuari? I think it is. But he's taken 16th position. His teammate's up in 4th, so 16th sounds pretty terrible by comparison. Here is Sebastian Buemi in the GRM going to make the move on the Mitchell. GRM having a fairly quiet afternoon. Both their drivers are fairly way down the order. Jean-Eric Verne will be the next one on the hit list on Alguersuari. Into the pits for his second stop comes Robert Kubica. And this is on lap 42, so 30 laps of fuel to be taken on board. And much fresher tyres than the opposition. It's going to be exciting to see him progress through the field in this final 30 laps of the race. Where's he going to rejoin first of all? Fairly slow stop in comparison to some of the others, 8.2. And that's Maldonado in the pits. So the other Willows Racing has come into the pits for his stop. I presume it's his second stop because Alonso was 1 stopping, and the trend has been that strategies have been split. Kubica's rejoined in 4th. Now we're going to see some lap times from him. He was the only driver in the Australian Grand Prix who took on some dry tyres midway through the race, which was a very brave move in some ways, as it was still raining. But he did manage to lap a second quicker than everybody else. His fastest lap was 1.1 quicker than Kimi Raikkonen. Just having a look at Jenson Button being challenged by the Venezuelan of Pastor Maldonado going into turn 1. Jenson has 1 stopped, Maldonado has 2 stopped, and for the moment it looks as if 2 stops has been the correct strategy, because Maldonado has had a very good race. Now Button has been slightly compromised. He's got Romain Grosjean all over the back of him once again. Going up the inside into turn 4, Romain Grosjean trying to outbrake him, not quite. But now he's got points within his grasp. So lap 49, Nico Rosberg is leading from Lewis Hamilton. Quite a comfortable gap, about 8.2 seconds. Hamilton has got Vettel 3 seconds behind him, and Kubica a further 4 seconds behind him. Grosjean has now taken 8th position off of Jenson Button. Now he's going to try and catch Maldonado, but I just can't see that happening if Maldonado is on those fresher tyres. He's now got Lucas Di Grassi right in front of him, and 6th place within his grasp. Here he goes up the inside into the first corner, nearly being squeezed on the pit wall, but he's done it. Maldonado up into 6th position. And remember, he is some 4 positions ahead of Fernando Alonso, his illustrious teammate, multiple world champion Fernando Alonso. So this is a very impressive drive from the Venezuelan. Here is Kubica. He's caught up to Sebastian Vettel now. Not quite as quickly as I thought, actually, but he has caught him up nonetheless. Just 9/10 as they cross the line. He's alongside him going out of the Bico de Pato corner, but he's had to back out of that one. Coming out of the Junção, I don't think he's close enough to benefit from the slipstream, so it may well be another lap before Kubica can make a move on Sebastian Vettel. Also a world champion is Sebastian Vettel, having won it in the 2007 season. That was with Tornado. You can see how much better Kubica is on the brakes than Vettel. Coming out of turn 3, the Curva de Sol. Now, Hamilton's not that far in front of these battling duo either, so Kubica's got 2nd place, potentially. I think Rosberg has got the measure at the moment. And he's close into Ferragera. That's a brave one. I'm not surprised he's backed out of that one, because that would be a very tricky place to pass. There's Pinurino, the little pine tree, and into the Bico de Pato, which is known as the Duck's Bill. Named that because it's shaped a little bit like a duck's bill. It's out of Mergulo, which is the dive into the junction curve, the Junção for the local residents, such as Guillaume Kramer. And at the moment, Guillaume Kramer has got his drivers in the top 8, Rosberg leading, and Di Grassi 7th. Here comes Kubica alongside Vettel. Going into turn 1, there's a lapped Horizon who may get in the way. Ooh, that was nearly contact, almost a swerve from Kubica, but he's in 3rd position now for the Andrew F1. Rounds Curva de Sol. Can he catch Lewis Hamilton, whose tyres are considerably old now? But there is a Horizon in the way. I think it's Robert Wickens. We're having a look at Romain Grosjean in 8th position. Here's a replay of something. There's a slowing Di Grassi in front of him. Di Grassi has got a bit of a problem, because Romain Grosjean is looking for 7th position. Needs to get past him quickly, otherwise Fernando Alonso will be taking a pair of them in quick course. Now up the inside, so I think Di Grassi just had a bad exit out of that corner, and Grosjean is taken 7th. Alonso's looking very menacing as well, but he has to sit behind the Brazilian, and Grosjean is up into 7th. Looks as if he may stay there come the end. Unless Fernando Alonso can do something about it, because he is coming up alongside Di Grassi. But Di Grassi holding on. Holding on to that final point position. He's not going to give that up easily. Now we're in the infield. Here's Ferradura, which I think is called the Horseshoe. Lap 64, just a few laps to go now. Nico Rosberg holds on to a 7.4 second lead over Lewis Hamilton. But Hamilton has got Kubica 1.5 seconds behind him. So, second place, the battle is on. Vettel has dropped back to 2.3 seconds behind Kubica. And about to come across the line is Adrian Sutil, about 31 seconds behind the leader Rosberg. We'll wait for confirmation of that as the German crosses the line. 31.8 seconds to be exact. Although his position's not safe either, because Maldonado is just 3.3 seconds behind and looking to try and take that 5th position off. Here's Fernando Alonso. He has now taken that coveted final points position off of Lucas Di Grassi. So, no Brazilians in the top 8. The best that South American can offer is in fact Agui Racing or Sean Connery Motors leading. But Maldonado is in 6th. He has now caught Adrian Sutil and now he's in the slipstream. And now Kubica's only 8 tenths behind Lewis Hamilton, but we'll see this battle first between Sutil and Maldonado. Here's the slipstream. Is he going to have a look at the inside of turn 1? He's out braking him into turn 1 and Maldonado has taken 5th position from Adrian Sutil. And this is the battle between Hamilton and Kubica for 2nd position. Coming out of Megulo. There's now only 4 laps to go. Out of Juncao. And we're in the slipstream on board with Robert Kubica. Is he going to pull up alongside him into the final corner? Will Hamilton know he's there? Yes, he does. Kubica alongside. And Kubica showing us 4 thousandths ahead over the timing beam. But more importantly, he has taken 2nd position. It's been a fantastic drive from the Andrew F1 driver. But he did qualify well. He qualified 7th. So he's not shown that he's not only quick in qualifying, but he's quick in the race as well. With the right strategy, of course. One of the few to 2-stop. Unlike this man, Nico Rosberg, who has 1-stopped, but he did leave it quite late compared to some of the others, such as Romain Grosjean, Lewis Hamilton and Fernando Alonso, and Rosberg had a good strategy there. But not only that, he did have the speed to take advantage of the strategy, and as a result he leads on the final lap by 6.2 seconds from Robert Kubica, who has pulled out a substantial gap over Lewis Hamilton, 3.5 seconds over the man whose 6-race winning streak is about to come to an end. Mostly thanks to this man we're watching, Nico Rosberg, rounding the Bico de Pato now for the final time. Arguably took the wrong strategy in Melbourne. The 2-stop wasn't quite as effective as the 1-stop. And certainly the pace of Lewis Hamilton in Melbourne accounted for some of that. But he has seen to that as Rosberg, and out of the final corner now, Sean Connery Motors are going to win a race, and Nico Rosberg wins the Brazilian Grand Prix. Guilherme Kramer will be absolutely delighted with that one, in front of his adoring home crowd as well. Kubica comes home an excellent 2nd position for Andrew F1, ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Sebastian Vettel took 4th position ahead of an equally excellent Pastor Maldonado. He came from 16th on the grid. That seems to be a good place to start, because Ricciardo did that last time. Sutil is 6th, Grosjean takes points for FJR, and taking 1 point is Fernando Alonso in the other Willows Racing. So that result puts Nico Rosberg in the lead of the championship, 2 points ahead of Lewis Hamilton, and Kubica moves up into 3rd ahead of Sebastian Vettel. In the Constructors' Championship, Tornado maintain their position at the top, but Sean Connery have moved up very close behind them. Andrew F1 move up ahead of Shake and Bake to take 3rd position. So a fantastic race for Nico Rosberg, taking the victory in Brazil. How will he do when FF1M will be on Long Beach for the next race?